What's up and welcome to Fishing Hungry. My name is Dasha. Thanks for tuning in. Before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to those of you that have subscribed and watched my first episode. I was really happy to see your comments and that we had the opportunity to interact. Without you, this channel wouldn't be possible, and I'm looking forward to continue building this journey together. In today's episode, I want to share with you why and how to tie a tangle-free Sbirolino rig. So let's start with why. Why should you care and why should you know yet another rig? Well, the answer is quite simple. You want to catch fish. Who would have thought? What a surprise! Got you there, clickbait, cha-ching! No, for real. Think about those moments when you conquer your fishing adventure. The excitement you feel before your first cast. The thrill, the rush that goes through your body when you get your first strike. The rewarding feeling you have when you land your first fish. Regardless of where you live, you invest time and effort to experience those amazing highs. You might live a couple hours away from the next great body of water. So, you packed your stuff, got up early and arrived at the location. It's a beautiful morning, slightly crisp, but the sun is already creeping up the horizon. Other anglers have followed the call. You might feel a slight sensation of competition. It seems, just like you, most of them are also spin fishers. You start fishing, there's this excitement again. But after some time, you start to have doubts. No fish. You look around. Just like you, no one catches any fish. But there's one person that catches right and left, bang after bang. You notice this person is a fly angler. You continue. But your doubts start to grow. They distract you. They keep you from enjoying your moment. You start to wonder, should I change the lure? Which one to take? Should I get into fly fishing? Here's the thing. We all have those moments and they suck, especially when considering our busy lives. We want to get the most out of our experience. Obviously, you cannot expect to crush it every time you go fishing. But you can improve your chances to do so. Just like humans, fish have needs and preferences. That means some days they prefer spin lures and on other days they prefer flies. And here's where the Sbirolino comes in handy. So, long story short, the Sbirolino allows the spin fisher to benefit from the strengths of the fly. Let me share with you how to tie it. Alright, now that we know why to tie a Sbirolino rig, let me share with you how to do it. This is what we need. We need the Sbirolino. This is a 20-gram sinking Sbirolino. Then we need some fluorocarbon line. I like to use 45 millimeters. You can also go up to 50 millimeters, but I would suggest you not to go thinner than that. Then we have our anti-tangle tube, our little shrimpy here. This is our fly. We have 2 swivels and 2 stopper pearls. They're usually made from rubber. I would suggest you not to use any plastic ones. The rubber ones take the impact of the Sbirolino much better. Alright, let's get going. First we do the leader on which we only attach the Sbirolino. For that I would suggest you to take about 50 centimeters of fluorocarbon line. This is what you want to do. You first pull your Sbirolino through the line, all the way through. Okay. Then you take your first pearl, suck, just like so. Second, you take your anti-tangle rig. This makes sure that the line goes straight and doesn't come back and gets tangled around the Sbirolino. You can find them in basically any fishing shop. than nothing else than denser and more rigid straws that fit nicely around the line. They come usually a little longer, but you just cut them. What you want them is about the length of 2/3 of your Sbirolino. And then lastly you have the second rubber pearl. Then we use our first swivel. We will attach this one with the garfish knot. If you want to know how to tie this knot, please check out my video on the 3 most important fishing knots. I will leave a link to it in the video description down below, and you can also click just here in the video if you want to see. Alright, I'll just tie that real quick. We got that. Make sure you pull it real tight. And also, if you do that for yourself, don't forget to put some saliva on the knot so that the knot is nice and tight. Then you want to clip off the line relatively close to the knot. Just leave it a little bit room so that the knot can pull some line in case there's a lot of strength and power working on it. And what you can do is you can take this little piece of the knot that sticks out and just put it into the rubber ball. Alright, second swivel, same knot, real quick. Again, the garfish knot. Okay, let's pull it tight again. That's it. Now you have your leader with the Sbirolino. Let me just put it down like this. And on this we attach now the fly. Let me just put that aside real quick. For that you take about 2/3 of the length of your rod. So for instance, in my case, that would be 2 meters. If that is too long for you, you can also fish with less, but that's a good rule of thumb. Alright, then let's attach that line real quick to the Sbirolino leader. Again, garfish knot. Okay, that's it. Clip it off. And now all you need to do is to attach the fly to the line. So how do you do that? You want to use the Rapala knot. Okay, how to make a Rapala knot. Let me start off from the beginning. You take your line, I hope you can see that, and basically form a very simple loop, just like so. You can see it's a very simple loop, that's nothing fancy. You take that end, bring it through the fly, pull it all the way down, see here, and then you bring that end of the line back through your initial loop. Okay, and now we can see we have a loop that attaches to the fly, and then you bring this line 3 times around the main line, just like so. Take that line, bring it through the initial loop you formed, and now you form a new loop, as you can see here, and then you bring the line back through that, and now you pull it tight. Let's try to do that without hooking ourselves. I purposely left the loop that attaches to the fly a little bigger so I can show you how it looks. You do not want to do that because otherwise it could fly around a bit too much. Small loops are fine. Okay, let me just clip that off, and now you can see this loop here that attaches to our little shrimpy. That is your Rapala knot, and now you have your Sbirolino rig. Looks like quite a mess, huh? So what we can do is we can use those boards. They're available in plastic or in some kind of soft plastic materials, whatever you can find. As you can see, this one is a little shorter than my actual Sbirolino, but that doesn't really matter. We can still fix it. That's no problem. Just hook your bait into it and then you go around just like so. So you might be wondering, why do I want to do that, huh? It's just so much more pleasant when you're at the water and you're ready, that you don't have to play around with knots or anything like that anymore. This gives you a good head start. So now you can actually see our line is a little bit too short, but you get the principle. It works very fine. Try to get the longer ones and then you're set up. It looks like this from the other side, and then you're good to go. Now that we know how to tie a tangle-free Sbirolino rig, let's talk about some pro tips. Pro tip number 1, color versus clear. So there's a variety of different colors on the market, but most commonly you will find either white ones or clear ones. I would suggest you to avoid the white ones, and the reason is that in the water, fish often mistake the white Sbirolino with a lure and attack it instead of attacking your fly. Obviously, we want to avoid that, so keep a low profile and go for a clear one. Pro tip number 2. Let's talk about weight. There's 4 different types of Sbirolinos on the market. So there's the swimming ones, there's the slowly sinking ones, the fast sinking ones, and then there's a 4th one, some kind of absurdity, where you can adjust the weight of the Sbirolino yourself by filling in water. Okay, I would suggest you to avoid the swimming ones and the ones where you can adjust the weight yourself. For the swimming ones, the reason is similar to the white Sbirolinos. It often happens that the fish actually attack the float, so the Sbirolino on the water. Obviously, we want to avoid that. We want it to attack the fly. And for the ones where you can adjust the weight yourself, there's actually 2 reasons. First off, they're actually really expensive. And then second, it's very hard to actually determine how heavy they are. So that also means you don't really know what the actual sink rate is. Instead, you want the sinking ones. But wait a minute. Didn't you say earlier we want to fish close to the surface so we can benefit on the strength of a fly? Yes, that's what we want, and we still can. It really depends on how fast you actually reel the Sbirolino in. So it's quite simple. If you reel in the Sbirolino quick, then the Sbirolino will come up towards the surface. That actually allows you to, even with the sinking ones, fish directly or close to the surface. If you reel it in slower or slow, the Sbirolino will sink and go deeper and deeper. So this way you can determine yourself where you want to fish and how you want to fish. Alright, thanks for hanging in with me. This is our last and 3rd pro tip. Although you have followed all the tips that I've shared with you today, you might still experience line tangle when you're out there fishing. My best bet is this is because of the wind. It might just happen that you have some kind of unfortunate wind conditions, but there's something you can do about it. Just before the Sbirolino hits the water surface, you want to grab into your line, or you just close a reel. What happens is your line develops some kind of whipping effect which shoots away the fly. This way, most likely you will not experience any line tangle anymore. We've made it to the end. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell button. If you want to reach out to me, if you have any kinds of suggestions or questions, leave a comment in the comment section down below. I see you next time. Stay fishing hungry.